What's going on, my fellow farmer brothers and sisters? All right, let's go ahead and get started on this 300. So stay tuned, and we're going to get the Borescope in there and see how this thing looks. All right, my friends. So I was looking through my book last night, The Complete Book of Farmall Tractors. It's actually a good book. I don't know if you guys have it, or if you've ever seen it. I'm sure most of you have. Maybe some of you newcomers haven't seen this book, but it's got a lot of knowledge in here. You guys might want to grab a hold of one of these. I got this one off Amazon. There's the information on it, in case anybody wants to know, in case anybody's looking for one. Anyway, so yeah, I decided last night to go ahead and look through here and look at some of the stuff on the 300s, because I found something very interesting on this 300 when I pulled the first spark plug out and put the Borescope inside of it. I'll show you guys that in a second. But I like the write-up on it. You know, it even says that this is one of the most attractive tractors ever produced by any manufacturer. I gotta say, you know, I kind of agree, because the 300, you know, all the way up to the 450, the styling of the hood and everything, with that center strip, the bump up over the column, I don't know, something really about this one really sets these tractors off. So this book here is saying that these tractors are, you know, at the belt, the PTO horsepower is about 36. And I believe if you put fire craters in, I think that takes that to about maybe 40. Well, I did find out this tractor has fire craters in it. So my assumption on this thing being rebuilt at one point is correct. Now, the only thing I don't know is if the guy who had this tractor before me rebuilt it, or if it was rebuilt maybe before him. I'm going to probably be safe to assume, I think he probably rebuilt it, or had somebody rebuild it for him. Because I told you the TA, that center section, either that was rebuilt and the new TA was put in it. That's why it's got the markings on the side right here. And you can see the difference in the color of this compared to everything else. I think either he replaced this with another unit, or rebuilt it, or something, and also the telltale sign of the inspection cover on the top that has sealant on there. But the TA works, so I'm not going to complain. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to set this thing up in the stand, and we're going to Borescope this. But first, I went ahead and I made an order the other day, and I ordered a new wiring harness from Broman. They were super fast on sending this thing out, but I decided I wanted to replace the wiring harness on this tractor. This one has everything all the way down to the original implement plug wiring and everything that goes to the back. Now that's actually cool, because I found an original implement socket for it, because the one on the tractor is missing. So I'm going to put all that back to original like they had it. And I also ordered a voltage regulator. Now this came from Amazon, because I know a lot of people want me to convert things over to 12 volt. I don't really have to always convert everything to 12 volt. I'm quite happy with the 6 volt. Now maybe one of the other tractors, I don't know, maybe the 300 utility, maybe I'll make that one 12 volt in case I decide to run any kind of 12 volt lighting or whatever else. But I'm running the 8 volt battery in here, just like I'm running on the H. And same as I'm running on the A, don't have a problem. They spin over quite fast. They fire up every single time. All the lights are bright. I don't have any issues. If you do your 6 volt right, your 6 volt can be just fine. But this is where the implement socket goes, right here, where this one's broke off. So like I said, I have one. I ordered it so I can unbolt this. Of course, the whole box is going. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do the whole wiring harness. The reason I opted to go that route was because this harness has been hacked like something fierce through the years. I mean, there's a lot of splits, there's a lot of breaks, and I'm not chasing down every portion of this wire to make sure I have all that, because the last thing you want to do is have your tractor good, nice, paint it, clean, everything is looking great, then all of a sudden a break like this that you missed arcs out on something, grounds out, and then your tractor sets on fire. Not cool. So, you know, I think I paid $219 for that wiring harness, which is the complete wiring harness for it. Everything from headlights to the backlights to the socket, all the way down to the fuse holder that goes on the dash for $219. You know, it actually was not a bad deal whatsoever. Let me see, make sure I get the actual cost. Let me take a quick look. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't $219. That's right. That was the other one that had some other stuff that wasn't there. But there's the price, and that was shipped. Like I said, and that was the complete wiring harness. So, not a bad deal. Cheap insurance for the most part for the amount of money we put. I mean, Christ, we put more than that into buying a tire for the tractor for the back. So why not buy the harness? So anyway, so I got this thing all set up. So I'm going to put you in the stand, and we're going to go in there and Borescope the cylinder, and I'm going to show you the fire craters that I found inside here. Like I said, everything actually looks pretty good. And then I'm going to do a compression test on it. If everything is up to par where I want it, then we're going to go ahead and start the process of cleaning this thing up. I'm probably going to use the, what the hell you call it? Oh, total brain fart. The scaling brush. I'm probably going to use the air scaling brush to get in a lot of the crevices that I can't get into. Because obviously, you know, all of this has to come off. The lights have to come off. I mean, I'm still taking a lot of shit off this tractor. But the areas that I'm not fully breaking down, we're going to get in there with the scaler and clean a lot of spots up. So I'm looking forward to this thing. I'm excited to get it done, take it for a ride, paint it and shiny, not in its work clothes. So, alright, well, enough jibber jabbering. Let's go ahead and set up and let's take a look inside this thing. Okay, so I've used this actually on the 450 once before. I got this off Amazon. There's the part number if anybody wants to go check it out. It actually hasn't been a bad little Borescope to go and kind of check stuff like this out. Seems like everything's working pretty good on it. So I'm going to bring you guys over here. And I'm going to see if I can get this thing up any higher. Hang tight, I'm going to shake you guys all around, so let me hit pause. Alright, let's fire this puppy up. Hopefully this will show up without a glare on here. Alright, let's turn this way some. And there's the picture. Alright, so let's go ahead and see cylinder number 4. I haven't quite mastered turning this thing in here yet, but you can see right there, there's a pop-up for the fire crater. Now the other cylinder I was able to actually get in there and see a part number. What is that right there? We're seeing, there's a part number right there. I'm trying to see this wall right here. Yeah, like I said, I haven't quite mastered turning this thing in here yet. But anyway, so yeah, there's a fire crater right there. That's a good image of it. So to actually have that is pretty cool. Now I do see a couple scratches on the walls. Right there. And right there. Obviously there's no way I can get my finger in there to feel that. But all in all, not bad. This one here. Now the pistons are a little wet because the carburetor was running a little rich. I had to run it in here on the choke. There's a part number right there for the fire crater. See the Z on the top in the middle? So yeah, that's pretty cool to find that. And what I'm seeing, see a lot of reflection. There's a couple marks on the cylinder walls. Obviously it's going to have that ridge right there. Again, I'm not sure how sharp or deep that is because I can't get my finger in there. Now some of the stuff you probably see on the walls too. Could be a lot of stains off from the thing sitting. I mean, there's been people back in the day too. They rebuild engines and they don't hone the cylinders, which is a huge no-no. What is this right here? Let's see if I can slowly see. I don't know if they're actually deep digs or if that's just a mild scoring on that wall. Seems like each one has a little bit. So that's where we're going to do the compression test. And we're going to find out. See if I can flip this thing upside down. See if I can show a valve. There we go. It's got some buildup on the valve there. I don't know if I can get to the other one. There's the other valve. At least the seats actually don't look all that bad. Just crud. It's so hard navigating this damn thing in there. Yeah, it's a little bit crud. Let's see what it looks like in here. Yeah, pretty much the same way. Now I do have, it looks like they're seating pretty good. I do have, if I decided to rebuild this engine, which, I don't know, it's going to depend on that compression test. Obviously I'm keeping the pistons, I'll just re-ring it, clean the cylinders and everything up. But, I do have another head that I built for that utility. That will go right on here. If I decided to, like I said, rebuild this thing. But it runs good. I mean, it doesn't smoke at all. So anyway, that's the Borescope. So let's turn that off. So yeah, that thing actually works pretty nice. I like that. So, all right. Well, now we're going to do a compression test on this thing. I'm going to pop the coil wire off so it doesn't fire over. Set the battery in it, and then see what the compression is on this engine. So hang on, let me get set back up. Okay, let's see if I can reach this to check this. All right, so cylinder number 4. Well, that's reading about 130 psi. It's pretty good compression inside there. Now I gotta actually look up and find out what the compression is supposed to be on these engines, like to be in the good. And I'm pretty positive 130. It's pretty damn good. So let me check real quick. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, it says about 145 roughly is a good factory compression. So to be at about 135-ish, not bad at all. I can live with that. All right, let's check the number 3 and see what it looks like. Okay, here's cylinder number 3. All right, so let's check this one out. So that one stops at about 110, 120, 130, 150, about 120. Not bad. I can still live with 120. That's still up there in its range where it's good. Can't really complain with that one. All right, see number 2. Number 2. Sorry, didn't help that one. All right, let's keep this puppy in there. Now, I'm actually wondering if I screwed that in tight enough on that one, because this one I screwed in a little tighter. So I'm wondering if I got any blow by on that cylinder when I didn't screw that in all the way. It's quite possible. Let's find out on this one. Okay. That's about 125-ish. So they're all staying pretty damn close to themselves there. Let's just say it doesn't have a low enough compression to make a teardown right now feasible. Unless I just wanted to do it just for kicks. But I think I got enough projects going on And if I don't have to rebuild this one right now, I'm not gonna. 450 is a different story. I might have to do a honing on the cylinders and new rings on that one, just because of the way that one cylinder looked. All right, now this is gonna be a stretch for me. So let me see if I can actually reach. Okay, so that pumps up to about 125. So they're all pretty much within range. So no, this engine's good. Everything's sealing, everything's holding, pressure's holding. I don't see any reason to rebuild this engine. I mean, it runs good. I mean, it always has. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna put the plugs back in this thing, and I'm gonna pull the carburetor off, clean it up, get some of that dirt out of the carburetor, this tank right here left inside of it, and then we're gonna hook up this remote tank right here instead. And this one's clean, so I know I shouldn't have any issues with it. After I do that and I verify everything is running exactly the way I want it before I take it apart, we're going to start taking it apart and get this thing stripped out. Pull the filters out of here, clean all this out, clean the hydraulics up, everything. I mean, we're going to get this thing completely buttoned up, get everything greased, get all the oils changed, get new gear oil, get everything in it. So, all right, let's get these plugs back in. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and change this fuel tank over to the other one now. Get this one off of here and get that one set up so that way it's a little bit cleaner fuel running through here. Might clean up the carburetor real quick and fire this thing up. So let's switch it out. Sorry about that. I forgot to press record. You guys missed so much excitement. I needed a wire. Sorry about that. Man, I feel like this fuel tank has been on there so long, it almost feels like it's part of the tractor at this point. It's been on there for a while. Alright, let's get this thing unclipped from here. It worked. It did its job, but that the gasket that broke up in there, yeah, it's got little pieces everywhere. You can see the whole thing just kind of rotted out. So, not sure why it rotted out when it's an actual fuel tank, but okay, whatever. Gotta get that fuel out of there. Set that down there for now. Alright, now find the best place to mount this one at. Sit back here a little bit. Definitely not on the exhaust, that's for sure. I guess I could probably run that through there. And I don't know, I just feel like that's a little long. I don't know, maybe I'll do it like this. See how that works out. I don't know if that'll fit or not. Yeah, looks like it'll fit. Alright, good deal. I'll take one of these clamps off of here though. Okay. Yeah, that ain't gonna fit. I thought that might be a little big. Sometimes you can bend these. There we go. Yeah, it'll work enough for now. It's not like we're driving it anywhere. We're just starting it up in the shop. That's it. Alright, I do want to take this around here and there. And I don't want that laying on the starter, that's for sure. I'm going to put a wire here and here just to change that angle a little bit. And that's pliers, not wire cutters. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully this new new old lapel mic is working okay. I forgot I bought it months ago and never used it. But I noticed on some of my videos, when I start to walk away, it gets really quiet. So I'm sure that gets annoying trying to hear that. So I decided to go ahead and start using this mic. So, okay, that should be good enough for this thing to do its thing. It'll flow through, turn it on, into the carburetor. So I'm going to get this off and clean this carburetor up a little bit because I think it's got some junk inside of her. So, alright. And these are always a hoot to get off, especially that back one. Actually, you know what? No, I don't know why I'm saying that. I did find a way to get those off. That actually works very well. Let me grab my other 9/16. I was thinking of taking one of these and grinding off around here, thinning it up a little bit. That'll help a lot getting back in here. But that's right, this one here I had to put a nut and bolt on because that's the way this exhaust manifold came, which I don't know, I'm still kicking around the idea. If I want to get a little better exhaust manifold for this, I mean, this one seems to work okay, but they didn't relieve it enough around a lot of the areas where the bolts go in, so I had to grind into it. I don't know, maybe I'll work with it one more time, and then I'm going to decide if I'm going to keep it or get a new one. I need my stubby. I did replace these with stainless screws, so even though this thing is never going to be left outside like it did all of its life, the stainless screws will definitely help keep from rusting and never giving me a fit. Oh, sweet. All that shit from that tarp. I had it on my hand. I go to sneeze and cough, and then I blow it all over the place. That was wonderful. It's the only downfall with not running an inline filter is anything that comes out of any of those tanks is going to clog this up. As much as I don't like to do it, I think I'm going to probably go ahead and run an inline filter on this thing. I don't know. I mean, I got that tank pretty damn clean inside, and I'm going to coat it with that, with a POR fuel tank sealer. That'll be a next video, getting that tank together. But I don't know. Sometimes it's just cheap insurance to keep your carburetors clean. I just don't like the way that it looks sometimes. It just doesn't look factory and looks bad, but unfortunately sometimes you got to kind of change things up slightly and get with the times and prevent stuff from happening. So I might go ahead and run one. I checked the Brillman wiring against the wiring that's on the tractor, and it looks like all the colors are matching up. So it just looks like this wiring harness here was just cut into and things were changed on it. Or somebody, I don't know, it's not cloth wiring. Some cloth sheathing, but not cloth wiring. So to me it looks like somebody definitely cut into the wiring on this. Wow, that gasket tore right off. I guess it's a good thing I got a bunch of those, because I'm going to need it. Alright, let's dump this in here. Alright, so basically all I'm doing right now is looking at you. All I'm doing is just dumping the fuel into my drain pan, getting this thing empty before I crack it open. Because all I'm really doing is cleaning it up and cleaning out any of the debris that's inside all the little ports. Okay, now I did Cerakote this. I can shoot this with a brake cleaner. It's not going to eat it off, so I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, so most normal paint, if you take brake cleaner or acetone or anything and you hit your paint, you're going to start eating that paint off. Not Cerakote. See, Cerakote, as good as can be. It does not, you cannot eat this paint off with chemicals like that. You can do it if you sit it in acetone and you let it sit for a long time. It'll soften it a little bit, but it doesn't take it off. So, I mean, you can see right there, my finger's dirty, but it doesn't take the finish off. That's why I decided to Cerakote my carburetors, just because it holds up. Alright, I don't want to clean the inside because I want to see it. Alright, let's get a rag, wipe this off. So I can take and clean this with a rag really good, polish her up. It looks just as good as it did the day I Cerakoted it. Now this right here is Elite Blackout that I used on this carburetor. So this has, I think it goes up to like 800 to 1,000 degrees temperatures it can handle. Extremely durable. You can go on Cerakote's website and you can get all the specs on it, but this is what I like to use. I'm kind of kicking around the idea of the next carburetor. Maybe I might go ahead and Cerakote it red to get close to the Farmall red, but you don't have to worry about the paint getting eaten off. So, holds up good. Alright, let's go ahead and move to the table. Alright, let's get this apart. Here's what I use on the carburetor. If you want to go black, I use go Cerakote. Now this is a bake out finish right here. So once you go ahead and sandblast your part, get everything masked off. The thickness is thin. It only goes on like 1 mil thick, so it doesn't clog things up and like build it up like powder coat does. But yeah, once you go ahead and you spray this, you hang this, you let it air for about 10 minutes before you put it in the oven. Put it in the oven at 300 degrees for 1 hour. Take it out, let it cool, assemble. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Like I said, and it holds up. You can see right there how shiny it is. Just in that one area, I cleaned it up compared to how dirty that side was. So, like I said, it's a super durable finish. You know, I can take you over real quick. I'm not going to show you my mess. I've got a lot of stuff everywhere, but I got quite a bit of Cerakotes. There's lots of reds, so there's enough reds that you can definitely match to Farmall. Once I figure out Prison Pink, once I figure out which red it is to match to it, I'll let you guys know. So if you ever decide you want to Cerakote your stuff, so any red's not close. You know, Firehouse red actually might be pretty damn close to Farmall red. Might have to give that a whirl. Paint something small. See what that looks like. I'm going to stick that over here. Alright, let's get back over. I might even have a sprayed sample of that Firehouse somewhere, because I've used it, so I definitely should have a sample. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do is we're just going to go ahead and take this apart. It's not really much I'm looking for. It's already been rebuilt. Basically, I am just cleaning everything up and cleaning out any of the jets and everything. Anything that might have got past the screen right here. There you can see, let me see if I can get a light on here for you. You can see some of it in here. Right there on the end. You can see where that collected all right there. All that stuff right there. Well, sometimes that can break down small enough that will actually get into the carburetor and it will clog it up. So most likely, I just really can't see it that way, it just shines. But most likely that's what it is, because like I said, everything runs good. The carburetor works good, you know, don't have an issue with it. But the carburetor has gotten to the point where it runs better on choke. Usually when it runs better on choke, that means you have a port clogged up. So if you guys have an issue where your carburetor and you're trying to run your tractor and you have to run it either full choke or partial choke, you have a clog somewhere. That is the most common issue. You know, I was going to get a socket out for this, and I forgot to grab the socket. And I don't feel like going back over to the toolbox to get it. But that's okay. This is ratcheting, so this will work. That's the other carburetor I'm going to rebuild. I might spray that one. Excuse me. I might spray this one in that Firehouse Red over here. Guess you guys can see what I'm pointing at, can you? Yeah, that one right there. I'll do that in Firehouse Red, possibly. Well, once I figure out exactly what color I want to use. And I'm going to grab a socket. I'm going to let you guys know. So in case you decide you want a Cerakote carburetor. Now I also Cerakoted my exhaust. Sorry, trying to find an extension. Let me show you what I use to Cerakote my exhaust. Okay, now as far as exhaust, on the Super Ray, I went with the Glacier Black. And this is the C7600. This is an air cure because it has a C on there. And if you have an H, it's an oven. And if you have the E, it's an oven. If you have the C, that's an air. Now I have used this right here on the exhaust on the Super Ray, and it looks just as black as the day I painted it. So it doesn't burn off. So if you want to do your exhaust, I'd suggest you use the Cerakote for your exhaust. I did this on the rims on the Super Ray last time, and it actually looked really good and held up really nice. Again, air cured, but this is the Glacier Silver. You can just sandblast your part, spray this on, and then you just let it air cure, and then you're good to go. So I'm actually quite partial. I mean, I've done a lot of Cerakote. I'm certified in Cerakote. I don't get any money from Cerakote, so don't ever think that I'm doing this because I get paid by them, because I don't. But I gotta say, as far as like all the stuff that I've Cerakoted, it holds up very well. Anything that sucks about me doing this is the fact of I'm gonna have to get a new gasket, because I'm pretty positive this gasket's gonna probably tear. It usually always does. You know what? Let's lose the extension. I'm trying to hold that and turn that. That is so fun. See if I can get a better handle on this. Right there. Gee, tight. Holding on nice. Lock washers are doing their damn job. If you guys have any more questions about as far as the Cerakote and what I've used, feel free to ask me. I use the Iwata guns when I Cerakote. Keep the pressure down. Trying to think what I keep my pressure at. I guess about 25 to 30. I think it is for the Elites. And then these Glacier colors. Everything else is like 20. You got to be careful you don't get dry spray when you spray them. I don't know, maybe if I do the exhaust on the 300, maybe I'll do a video showing spraying the Cerakote. Come on, baby. If you release, I can actually save that gasket. Now this gave me an absolute fit the first time putting this together, trying to get these floats and everything working right. These things were a pain in my butt. But one thing I'm really not liking, I think some of that shit sat in that carburetor, which, yeah, that's why it clogged it up. These floats have actually tarnished to the point where, see that crap that's on there? See that right there? That right there clogs up your carburetor. I'm not sure why these floats tarnished this way. Now, these weren't new floats. these floats here came off of that carburetor because the original floats that were in there, they just they just weren't acting right. But that right there, that will clog up the carburetor. Good thing is, I have a new set of floats. So, looks like I'm going to go ahead and put the new set of floats in here and spray this thing through and clean this thing up. Because that is not good. Yeah, I had these right on it too. Float level and everything was perfect. Wonder what the new ones are going to be like. I wonder how close they'll be. But I can only imagine how much stuff is probably inside of these. Yeah, especially, yeah. Yeah, she got a little bit of stuff in her. Well, that's why the old girl wouldn't run until the choke was fully on. Now, it was weird. Now, after a while, it would actually start to run okay, but it took a little bit. I guess I had to blow some of the stuff out, but sometimes it just doesn't blow out. Wow, yeah, it's all down inside there. It's all down the drain. No, they really oxidized bad. That's crazy. Oh, enough complaining about it. Time to get it done. Alright, clean this thing up and I'll be back. Okay, so I went ahead and ran the Dremel inside here a little bit. Got some of that green junk out of there with a little bit of itty bitty wire wheel. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pull all these jets and stuff out of here and make sure all these are cleaned out. I have a bad feeling they all might have a slick clog to them. I can actually see through that one. But not saying it won't benefit from cleaning it out. I could probably use one of my little torch tips, clean outs for the torches. I could probably go in there and clean that out. I don't have one over here, so I'm gonna have to go grab it. All right, so what I found worked out very well is a little piece of hobby wire for tying up stuff that actually fit in there good. I can run that right through and make sure there ain't no clog in there. Seems like it never fails. Whenever you think you got everything taken care of, something else will cause an issue. It's just the nature of the beast. No big deal. It happens, right? As long as we catch it, we fix it. It's all good. I'm going to pop that out too. I think that was 7/16. Yep. Ooh, look at all that. Let's just say when those floats oxidized, it went to all the brass. Ay. Well, that's the only thing I got to take out of there. Now I just got to clean that out. But man, oh man, I'm going to go put that on a brass wire wheel, clean that out, and spray it real good. So let me go clean that up. Okay, so I cleaned up just fine. Like I said, used a brass wire wheel, got that crap off of there. So I'm going to go ahead and spray the tip of a Q-tip with the brake cleaner and stretch it out and see if it's possible to get it inside here. Yeah, and you go on inside there. I have some smaller ones somewhere. I should go grab them because I don't think I have anything else small enough to go through there, and I really don't want to run a drill bit through it. Not saying I can't run a drill bit through it with my own hand. Got a few extras sitting here. Let's see if this one will fit. Yeah, just enough to scrape it up a little bit in there. Make sure any of the stuff is out. I didn't see a lot in here anyway, but better be safe than sorry. I think that was an 1/8, is it? Oh yeah, it is an 1/8. Check it out. It's a little bit coming out of there though. Look at all my hands. Not sure exactly why those particular floats did that. It's kind of odd. I just the fact it was too early to think about it. Alright, I'm going to spray this through with some brake cleaner now. Alright, I'm going to turn this around. So I've said this before, and I'm caught up on my Farmall. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Now usually when I spray these out, what I like to do is put your hand over top of this side. You see how you got 3 holes here, 3 holes here. What you want to do is put your spray in there, and you want to see if you get 6 sprays. Let me put that over here so I don't shoot on my table. See? They're all spraying. So, therefore, you know, all 3 ports on both sides aren't clogged. And then straight through. So, clog it, push it in. A lot of times, if I wasn't filming it, just go down this way. See? And spray it that way. And then works perfect. So, that's good to go. Alright, well, alright guys, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning this up. I'm not going to film this whole thing because obviously it's just going to be the same thing as spraying the brake cleaner through all the ports and everything, cleaning everything out, making sure there's nothing else clogging up inside there. Run a couple wires through, make sure this is clean. This thing right here, I'm going to go ahead and same thing. I'm going to spray it out. It's not really a lot that's going to get clogged in here, but I am going to clean that needle and seat up and change these floats out. So give me a minute to clean this up, and then we're going to wrap this thing up, fire this tractor back up. Alright, so now it's going to go ahead and clean up, make sure there's nothing inside the needle and seat area. I don't think there is. No, because everything's settled down into the tank, not up. But I will still check it, make sure she's clean, and then put it back together. You know, another thing, it's always good on carburetors, I may have mentioned this in one of my last videos, I don't remember, is you also want to make sure you check the surfaces across here. Make sure these are plain and true, because a lot of people don't realize that these carburetors can warp up a little bit. Put a gasket on there, bolt this thing down, it could have a slight leak, it could be open. Same goes for up here. You always want to make sure you run a flat file, something across there, just to make sure the surfaces are nice and flat. You'd be surprised on some issues people have, and they don't realize it's just because the mating surfaces are off. So check these for true. Check where it maps up to your manifold for true. It'll definitely save you a lot of headache in the future. Alright, I'm going to spray this through. Like I said, I think this down here is pretty clean. Yeah, nothing seems to be clogging up. That should be coming out back here. Yeah, it's fine back there. Let's go ahead and open this up. Yeah, that's clear. Should do a little bit anyway. Yeah, I think up this end is good. I'm going to go ahead and run the air hose through here. I already ran the air hose through that, and make sure this is cleaned up. So let me go blow this out. Alright, so it was a pause in the video for you. It was about a week for me. I ran a little hiccup here, which you probably seen on my previous video that I posted about those float screws. So the reason I did that was because I went ahead and took the top end here. I gotta make sure you guys can see me here. Yeah, you can see it. So I went ahead and was checking everything here, and the screw snapped off. So the last video I showed was me drilling and tapping and putting in new screws. What I did forget to mention on that one was the size screw that I put back in was the 440 3/8 long. That's the size, that's the length that I ended up putting in there. It was a 3/8 long screw. But anyway, it drilled, it tapped beautifully.
Everything went flawless on it, as you can see. The bracket is on, it's nice, it's straight. Very easy fix. I did have to chuckle. Somebody made a comment, which is probably in good intentions, but it kind of made me laugh a little bit. I posted the video on this, doing the float bracket, and I figured I rebuilt this carburetor, what, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, whenever I rebuilt this one, and I did a video on it. I did a video on the H carburetor. I did a video on the other 300 carburetor. But when I posted the video about fixing a float bracket screw, somebody wrote me a comment saying, Squatch 253 just did a rebuild on an H carburetor. I know. I watch his videos too. He's, you know, definitely seems like a good guy. Knows what he's doing. I enjoy his videos just as well. Pete, Few Acre Farms, he knows his shit. I love watching his videos too. You know, we all do something a little different, which is good. You know, it kind of keeps the versatility going on the YouTube videos. Everybody does something different. But just to address, you know, Squatch got lucky. His screws didn't break off. He was just putting the screws back in the video. I haven't seen any videos of anybody drilling and tapping. He's not saying he can. I mean, the guy can do quite a bit of stuff. He's actually really good. But I did my video on this just to help anybody who's had this issue to know how to fix it. So I had to kind of laugh because, like, the video of him doing the H rebuild to what I was showing were two totally different things. So, like I said, hey, you might have had good intentions for saying that, but honestly, I didn't really get it. So, but anyway, it's all good. So that's the last video I did. I'm gonna quit rambling about that, but it was doing this. So anyway, I do got to look back in the instructions and try and remember when you check the fuel level. I think it's from the casting. So we're going to do 1 5/16" from the casting, which I'm going to use this one here, which is my one that actually goes to 32nd 64ths. So it's going to be like 1 in 10/32, I believe it is, from the casting to where the float seats to shut that fuel off. So that's where we're going to go ahead and set this to. So all I got to do now is go ahead and put this back together. Put a couple parts back in here. Everything's all cleaned out. All that green, oh my god, total brain fart. The oxidation, basically. For some reason, that these brass floats actually did in there. Still can't really, I don't know, maybe it's a simple reason why I did it, but it coated everything. So I cleaned out everything inside this carburetor. And I sprayed the whole carburetor down again with acetone, and finish is beautiful. Oh yeah, Brigham Seal side note. I got the Cerakote. If you can see that H306, that actually matches the Farmall red very well. Now obviously this has got a high gloss on it. This is a satin finish. As soon as the high gloss goes on here, the color is identical. So if you guys want to do a carburetor to match your Farmall red, you can go with the Cerakote Ruby Red 306. This is the H series. This is the oven cure. You can go back through some of my videos where I've done Cerakoting. You can see how to do it. It's pretty easy. Like I said, it goes on thin. It's only a mil thick. And as you see, it doesn't cover all the castings and all that stuff. It actually goes on very nice. So if you want something that's going to hold up to all the chemicals, all the gas leaking out, any of the oils, whatever else, Cerakote carburetor, it'll definitely hold up way longer. But anyway, so that's the color there. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing put back together and get this thing fired up. Okay, so first things first. Let's go ahead and... I was going to go with the old needle and seat that I had in there because this one actually works very well. I'm going to try one more time to go ahead and go with the new one. I don't know, it seems like a lot of times these new ones don't seem to work right. They don't seem to shut the fuel off correctly. So I'm going to try it again. If it doesn't work, I know this one right here works perfectly. So I'm going to set that one to the side. You want to make sure that you go ahead and don't forget your gasket that it comes with. And I don't know if anybody's seen it. The new ones actually have the rubber tips on them. So you've got to be super careful when setting this float. Don't shove down and push this needle down inside that hole because you'll actually deform that tip and then you'll ruin your needle. So don't adjust it that way. I'm going to double check these screws. Yep, we're good. And we're good. So that bracket is good and solid. Now you don't need any Teflon tape or anything on this because it has a gasket with it. So you're good. And when you put this on, just put it on until it tightens up and snugs. Don't overdo it because you'll actually destroy your gasket. So just put it on just until you feel that resistance. Leave it. You're good. That's not coming off of there. All right, so I'm going to test this. Drop it in, turn this upside down. See if it sticks or hangs up, if you can see that or not. Because a lot of times what the common problem is, these go in and then they don't want to drop back out. So I like to try to test them and see if they actually function. So far it looks like this one's functioning. So we're going to try to go with it. All right, I'm not going to clamp this on yet. I'm just going to go ahead and push this rod through. See how close we are. With the height, obviously it looks like this one here is down too far. Both sides. So it looks like we're going to have to adjust this float up. But let's measure it and find out. Well, I don't know. I may be wrong. You actually might have that right. Scratch that. I put the wrong mark on my little roller. I thought I had the wrong mark on there. But anyway, yeah. It's right to the back. It's not right to the front. So obviously the floats need to be brought up a little bit. Now, you can bend these up. You want to hold it here and you want to bend it here to bring it up. See if we can do this super easy. The best way I can do this to get this on camera for you guys so you can see it as well. So you want to be really careful with the whole bending process because you can seriously get your floats out of whack. I'm going to go ahead and hold it with the smaller ones. And then we're going to bend this. So I need to bend it up a little bit. Just a hair, don't have to go up much. Straight. That looks much better. Alright, that looks pretty good there. That looks good there. Let's see if I got the side the same way. That side's good. 1 and 9 30 seconds. 1 and 9 30 seconds. Alright, we're good. Alright, so the floats are set. So I'm gonna go ahead and clamp this pin back closed, and then the float is good to go. It'll open and close. Now I want to check it one more time. I want to see if that needle drops every time my float goes up. Sticks a little bit, but you gotta remember there's no fuel in there. So once that fuel starts flowing, it'll kind of lubricate it a little bit. So that's pretty good. All right, let's get this bottom together. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put the, I think I can go ahead and put the gasket on and then set that venturi in there. Don't want to forget that. This is the venturi out of the other carburetor, so I just want to see if it fits in here okay. It will actually fit excellent if I put it in the right way. See, it fits really good that way. It fits, but do it the right way. There and there. Alright, so that works. I'll save this venturi for that carburetor whenever you build it. Alright, let's get this bottom back together. Again, make sure you got your gasket on here. And this is a 7/16 as well. Screw it down a little bit. Give it, snug it up just a hair. And that's it. Don't want to go too far, and see, it's done. It's enough pressure. You want to squish that gasket out of there. Alright. Be careful with this guy. He's small. You can snap this off really easy as well. Just be careful with the whole carburetor build. Pretty much bottom line. Alright, it's in, it's snug. Looks good. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put in the valve to shut the fuel off. We'll be opening that back up once it's back on the tractor. That's good. And then the last thing will be the screen, but I ain't putting that on yet. All right, set the carburetor down like that. And set her down on there real easy. Gotta get that. Set it up with the venturi. So just start bumping it. There we go. Get your gasket centered. Now you can go ahead and flip open the whole unit. Flip over the whole unit. And start snugging down your bolts. Now again, when you put these on, don't crank them down on one side and then the other. I usually do a star pattern on these as well. That way it pulls everything down nice and even. But I mean, you can look at the gasket on there while I was telling you about the carburetor body, and you can see how flat that and true that sits all the way around. That's why you want to make sure that's nice and true before you start putting this thing back together. All right, so back here is where the bracket goes. Now I'm just going to get them all snugged down. Now I'm going to screw in the screen for the fuel, push this in, get the gasket straight, like that. And just snug it up. That's it, it's in and done. That's always the fun part. You got to be careful when you put this on, because what happens is just like it happened last time. They have the bolt so close to that. If you tighten this down and it stops where that point right there is off to the side, you can't get this to screw down because it bumps. So I'm going to do like I did before. I just loosen that up, just one turn, put this back down. As long as it's running against that flat side, it'll screw right back down. Let me show you so you know what I'm talking about. That surface right there. So you want it flat for that to go against, not the point, because obviously it goes closer to there and you can't get that bolt to screw down. Sometimes it's just a little stupid tips, but it's just enough to help you. I don't know how the weather is at you guys' place, but they were calling for snow today. I don't think that's happening because it's like 40-some degrees out there, but it is raining like a mother out there. It makes me glad that I have this 300 in here to work on. I really wish I could bring the other two in here as well, since I got the 300 utility undercover. It's inside the other shop. The A is covered up in the other shop. I got the one cub in here, and I got the 300 in here. Kind of wish I could bring my other two in here. Don't think I'm going to be able to get them in, though. This is kind of running out of... Yeah, I kind of ran out of room. I will be posting that video very soon, though. Actually, you know what? By the time you see this video, I will have posted that video already. So you already know what I bought. The 450. Diesel. So happy about that thing. Guy was a hell of a nice guy I got that from. But I am... I'm going to get the other 450 gasser, the 58 450. I want to get that one running, keep it in its work clothes, and actually use that one as it is. The 57 diesel, though, that's a whole different story. That one right there, once I get these tractors here done, that one's going to come in, and that one's going to get a meticulous restoration, just like the Super A. I mean, that one's going to get every nut, bolt, piece, part, everything's going to get done on that one. That's going to be a longer restoration process, so that'll be a way longer video. Well, series of videos. but I've been wanting that diesel for quite a while now. All right, my friends, that carburetor is back together and ready to put back on. So let's go ahead and get this thing done. Oh yeah, before I forget, let me see if I can get this in the camera okay. I might start offering some hoodies. I went ahead and I started doing some hoodies up now. So if you guys decide you want a nice lightweight hoodie, I can do heavy ones, but if I do heavy ones, they're more expensive. And if you see the back, okay, I hope I'm in the camera good enough, but I'm gonna start offering hoodies. So if you guys want one, just let me know. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. All right, FYI, sorry, I thought I pressed the button on the camera to go back. Make sure that for that governor rod that goes in there for the throttle, make sure you get that point lined up inside that catch. If not, you're not gonna be able to adjust that throttle. So make sure you get that lined up. I'm only snugging these up. I'm not tightening them yet until I get this carburetor bolted back up. Now this aftermarket manifold isn't bad, but it didn't really fit very well around a lot of these factory washers that were in there. So I'm not really super happy about that. And I don't like the fact of it's a nut and bolt that goes on here instead of a stud. I may end up replacing it on this one and then using this on one of the other tractors. I mean, I don't know. Kind of like it and I kind of don't. Makes it easier for getting the carburetor off, that's for sure. But I'm just not a big fan of the way that works. I mean, you could probably try to push those through, but it doesn't work all that well. I don't know. I like the studs much better. But push that through. Actually push that back up a little bit. Push that down to right there. Row another arm. Makes it much easier. And just go ahead and get that one snugged up. Let it hang. And then this one, same thing. Drop it on through. Try to hold it in place and just go ahead and screw it in. I don't know. I guess it's a little easier than the studs, but I don't know, I like the studs. That's kind of crazy, but oh well. So that gasket's good and centered. Back and snugged. Don't pull the carburetor up, because then you're not going to be able to get that nut past the body. So you're only going to kind of pull it up a little bit as you're tightening that bolt up there, that nut up, and then it'll come right up where you want it to go. Just like that. Make sure that's nice and straight and centered. And that's it. We're going to snug this thing up. So this was, that's right, this was an oddball, I think. 9/16s. I feel like that was a different size. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, and you don't have to go super tight. There we go. So I get that spun around where it needs to be. Try to hold it from this side. I think that's what I did last time. There we go. Snug. Make sure this is snug. That's good. I'm going to tighten these up. Regular screwdriver for the front works fine. Again, these are stainless screws on here now. Stubby works really good for the backside. Okay, we're good. Choke's wide open. Hook the fuel line up. And I do have a trickle charger on the battery. I have to make sure that trickle charger is good, which it should be. Yep, we're all charged. That actually is nice to have. I gotta get those panels off the radiator before I fire this thing up. I'll show you those in a minute. I found a set of side panels, dog legs, whatever you want to call them, for the side of the grill on this one. I actually got them off eBay for, I think, 35 bucks for the pair of them. Something really cool I found on them when they got here. So these are the new dog legs for the side. It actually had one of the original IH dealership stickers that was on there, which is a shame somebody painted over it and covered it. I can't really make out who it was, but it was kind of neat to find that on there. I mean, it was on that one too, but it's been covered up. So it's only been one coat of paint on these. Not too bad. Condition wise, they're actually really good. I only got a little area right here to fix, and same with the other one, just a little spot. Much better than the ones that were on there, because these are dented pretty bad. I'm going to still straighten them, but couldn't beat it for the price. All right. I think we're good. I'm going to go check the plugs, make sure I had everything back in, hooked up, and if we are, I'm going to go ahead and just fire this thing up. All right, I forgot to show you something else cool I found on eBay. 99 cents. A 1/2 inch on one end, 5/8 on the other end, International Harvester wrench. So I decided to start collecting a few of these. I'm going to start loading these in the toolboxes. But I thought that was actually really cool. There's the IH hallmark right there. With 99 cents, I paid more for shipping than I did for the wrench. Not a bad deal. Oh, I got a favor to ask you guys. If anybody out there has one of the diesel emblems for a 350, a 400, or a 450 row crop, if anybody has that diesel badge, one in a parts tractor or sitting around, they want to sell it, please leave me a comment and a message. I need one. I just need one. I have one on the other side, but I don't have my other badge. So if anybody out there has one, they want to hook a brother up and sell it, I'd appreciate it. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the fuel. It's draining there. And it's draining there. That's good. So I want to see if it fills up. If it starts spilling out here, that'll tell if that float's set right or not. Because what it'll do, it'll spill over inside those air passages in there, and that's what'll make it run out of here. So far, it looks pretty good. The level's down, that's filled. All right, we're good. It's gonna breathe some life into this thing. Make sure she's in neutral. Throttle about there. Let's try with choke. It's been sitting a little while. Before I kill myself with the exhaust, that's all I want to do is give it a test run. Let me open this door a little bit. Alright, exhaust fumes are heading out of here, which is good. So far, floats are shutting off beautifully. The fuel's still on. Started right up with choke, of course. It's been sitting a little bit. Turn the choke off. Thing runs beautiful. This thing runs so good. Alright, well, I guess the next few videos now are going to be just to start doing some dismantle. Get the grill, everything off of there. Get all the front end parts off of there. Start pulling all the hoses and the wiring. get the wheels off of here. Yeah, let's start restoring this thing. All right, well, that's it for the video. So thanks again for watching. Exhaust is still a little strong. Got the door wide open, but still. Thanks for watching. Hit that notification bell. Like, subscribe, and share. It's always appreciated. And remember, if anybody has one of those diesel badges that'll work on the 450, please let me know. Shoot me a message. Shoot me an email. 7valleysfarmalls@gmail.com. And I'd be glad to pay you for it. Definitely need one. Other than that, that's it. So, till next time, thanks for watching.